Hey folks, and welcome once more to Doom Eternal. A little bit of an odd transition this time around. As I had mentioned to you guys before, I had some issues with Nabad. Unfortunately, I lost a bunch of footage, basically. I did the entire level, but there was actually a driver issue related to my recording software. And so all I got was the audio. It's kind of a bummer. It has been resolved. And I thought I was going to have to go back and do a mission select on it. But because I love you guys so much, I played through the entire first half of the game again. So this actually is a recording
Your crucible is still embedded in the Titan
from a whole different play of the game.
Your first battle against the demons of this world, where the legend of the Slayer began.
So I'm actually going to be slightly underpowered here compared to the play we were doing because I rushed through it as fast as I could. Didn't get any masteries really or anything like that. So still kind of working on those in this particular play. So as you can see, Precision Bolt Master is still not completed. But for you guys, it's worth it. So we deal with this little welcoming committee here. Do our little punch puzzle, and we are immediately greeted by a marauder. The first thing he will do is immediately chuck one of his thrown energy things at you. And then you gotta deal with the Cacodemon. I highly recommend taking him out first before you do anything else, and then just kind of get into position with this guy. Make sure to take care of his orange ghost doggo if he spawns it. And you can use these guys for armor, health, or ammunition if you need to take a break in the middle of the fight. And then just use a weapon combo. Of course, you can also throw grenades in there to, if you time it right, potentially falter him and make it a little easier.
Site of the first reported demon attack in Argentina. According to the Codex, the city
Got a secret
would have
there.
lost had it not been for the arrival of the Slayer.
A little secret under the bridge. So this is a reasonably tough level. It has a handful of big fights, and several of them are quite tough. I know there were several like popular streamers, doing Ultra Nightmare runs, whose initial runs ended here. As far as Ultra Nightmare is concerned, where you only get your single life to complete the whole game, a lot of people will fail in the really early stages, in the first couple of levels, because you don't have all your stuff, and then this is an easy place to fail later on because it throws a lot of stuff at you. So the thing to be mindful of here, you will initially get a couple of spawns, but who you really have to worry about is this archvile, who will usually spawn upstairs somewhere. Highly recommend just dumping your full arsenal into him so that he can't spawn more guys. I wish I had my first recording because he did spawn some more guys because I couldn't find him quick enough. Gives you an idea what you're up against. He will spawn a bunch of guys who are also buffed on top of that, so you really want to make him your priority here. Take him out as soon as you can. Whoopsie-daisy.
All your strength, all that rage, and you couldn't save this world from itself. But this time Earth will be different.
There's a few pickups around here and several secrets, and this is one of them. Help yourself to that button, which will open a gate on the other end of the map. This is one of the harder ones to find. And in fact, I didn't find it on my first go round. I had forgotten where that button was and didn't want to waste time on the video, you know, hunting around too much, so I just gave up on it, but there it is. And we have several other secrets. There isn't one back here. This is just me. I couldn't remember if there was like a health up there that I'd missed or something, and you can't get back up there anyway, so it doesn't matter. There is normally a health, I think, up there. Either that or gas can. I want to say there's a health and a gas can on those upper platforms. This is kind of the way forward, so you can punch that dude. And I actually did this wrong. I opened this center bit, which I'm realizing here. Oops, I just opened the pool. Which, unfortunately, is going to make this secret encounter harder. So, I'm going to go grab this mastery token. It's the first time these appear in a game, I believe. And so now you can automatically bypass whatever mastery challenge you would like to. So I'm going to just take the one for the lock-on burst. And while I'm here, may as well spend a few more points. So I've already maxed out, you know, a number of things, the things that I really like, but we still have plenty of stuff to buy. So I'm going to get the arbalest maxed out here. And I already got the stuff for the turret, or rather the energy shield on the chain gun. And I have no idea why I'm buying micro missiles here. I literally never, ever, ever, ever use micro missiles, but for some reason I decided that's what I was going to do. So. And we'll get the beam charge on the microwave beam, which I very occasionally use, although I really don't think that I've used it at all in this playthrough. It can be kind of a fun thing to use depending on what your setup is, but so this secret encounter is tough. Job one is to finish these guys off as quickly as possible so that you have as much time as you need to deal with this guy on his own. Hopefully you've got a charged up blood punch and just dump everything you have into him. And that's that. It looks fairly easy when you do it right, but it's actually quite tough. And don't forget that zombie. As you can see, I was actually down to the wire. There's one zombie, I believe it's just one, that spawns with that encounter. So even if you deal with everybody else very cheekily, there may be one zombie lying in wait. And if you don't get him in time, you can lose the whole thing. And it's an easy thing to lose a bunch of health on, a bunch of ammo, and kind of be up a creek. On my other play, I screwed it up the first time. And then, after going through pretty much the whole level, I went back and did it after I, you know, had sort of restocked my health and ammo. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't just throw yourself at a secret encounter over and over. It's a good way to sort of just, you know, use up your resources. We do this little traversal puzzle. Grab our soup point, and if you have empowered demons on, I find that it is very frequently that this empowered pinky spawns. Just grab the dash refill there, because I've almost maxed everything out.
Your hatred for demons gave the people of Argent a home, as it does now on Earth.
I'm also using slightly different runes, I believe, on this run. Obviously I can't go back and double check, but if I remember right, I decided to experiment with using some different ones while I was playing, just for kicks, to better understand how some of them work. And I believe what I did was I turned off, not faster glory kills, but I'm blanking now on which one I turned off. Either way, I believe I'm using the equipment cooldown rune, where if you kill something under the effect of equipment, it will reduce the cooldown on that equipment. So I think that's what I am still using here. We skipped our cutscene, and now we're going into one of the big and tough fights. So firing off the BFG right at the start basically is just going to eliminate your additional mobs for the most part. It's not a complete removal, but it basically just makes this way easier. It's not going to deal with the main dudes here, the heavies, but it gets rid of a whole lot of trash mobs. So because I'd already had so much frustration with this level with the previous recording, and then having to go through half the game again in order to do a proper recording so that I could, you know, actually show like the secret encounters and such, I just opted to make this a little bit easier. You guys have seen me play, you don't need to, you know, see every last kill here, but it gives you a good idea of a way to make this fight a bit easier, because it's very crowded if you do not do that initial BFG blast. So it's not necessary. You can certainly choose to do it or not, but there'll be a lot more trash mobs just to kind of interfere with your fighting. So just collect a few things here, and then we'll open the way forward using a pair of these punch pads. That'll open that. I don't think there's anything else to find up here. Double check and make sure. I did miss the map you can see over there in the corner. Thankfully, the map stations do not actually count toward your total, toward any of your completion totals. Slayer gate's up here waiting for us. We gotta find the key first though, which is on the other side of that. We have a little traversal puzzle to go through first. This is a pretty straightforward one, just smash a few walls and shoot a couple buttons. So we were talking about runes a minute ago, and I guess I should take a second to talk a little more about that. I've offered a few suggestions for things that I like to take, but by no means should you feel as though those are like the best. Those are just kind of things I decided that I like for whatever reason. I've seen many really skilled players take like the slow down time rune, which, you know, helps for especially I think Ultra Nightmare runs where you just need to be a little more defensive. Gives you time to like snipe weak points a little more easily, things like that. I've seen some people who really like to do the one that speeds you up after glory kills. But, you know, your mileage will vary, just find what you like. So, in our Slayer Gate here, as you can see, I immediately started by taking out the archvile. Always a high priority target. really doesn't matter the circumstance. One thing I think I fail in this particular run here is... I can't remember if I fail it or not, but one of the challenges in this map is to get 3 distinct glory kills on pain elementals. So that's something to consider. It's a busy level, and the fights are pretty difficult, so you're definitely going to want to pick and choose those fights where you can. The secret encounter is a difficult one to pull off, just because you don't have much time. So that's a tough one. The one in here is a little bit easier. And of course I use the mastery for the lock-on burst, which in order to get that manually you would normally just need to get a bunch of lock-on kills on prowlers. So this is actually a great place to rack up a ton of those. So I could have, you know, opted to take advantage of that, but I did not. For some reason I find that one a little annoying. I'd rather just buy it outright. The meat hook and precision bolt ones I get naturally just from the way that I play, so I don't worry about those. I figure it's easy enough to just buy a couple others. Having some issues there with the whiplash. As long as you take care of the archvile and are generally cognizant of your movement and not getting trapped by these guys in particular, it's this particular gate isn't so bad. It's hectic, but it's not terrible. This guy is kind of the, I guess, a larger challenge, depending, but if you're good at weapon comboing, tyrants tend to go down pretty fast. And they're big targets. So have them grouped up here with a couple of Mancubus. Take them all down in one fell swoop. And I think that's it. One more. There we go. Nope. One more. So that gate is down. For some reason, every time I bounce out of that one, like, the world fails to load for half a second. Not quite sure why that is. Maybe it's just me. I do hope that these recordings are working out better. No stuttering. I'm recording to a separate hard drive now. I've made some extra space. I have another hard drive on the way, but it's still in the mail. We do have an empowered Hell Knight here. Not a huge worry, just requires a little extra work to bring down. Not entirely sure why I opted for the BFG there. I think I just got my spawn orders mixed up. Really wasn't necessary. This is the guy you really need to worry about. So, weapon combo. He's gonna have a chance to move. And we bring him down before he can spawn anyone in. It's very dangerous for him to stay alive in this particular arena, because if he does, it's a small arena, and, you know, adding a bunch of buffed monsters into it is not a good time. have seen the other side of the secret there, so we just bash down our wall, and that brings us to a secret encounter, in addition to a pickup. So this is actually a fairly tough secret encounter. Compared to the other one, it's much more difficult. The main thrust of it here is just this marauder. So depending on how that goes and whether or not the other enemies cause you trouble, this is a very easy one to lose. They do give you a fair bit of time, so you can be reasonably careful. But if you haven't mastered the basic weapon combo by this point, it'll be a lot harder. Still doable. Just a fair bit harder. Less room for error. So we head up the well to find our way to the Titan.
If the crucible blade is removed, the Titan will rise again.
Which is not actually the case. Either that or it takes a long time. Because this dude does not move substantially.
Your vault should contain what you need.
But he does get cool and glowy. One thing I should mention about cacodemons up till this point, I don't think anyone has ever seen me do anything than use sticky bombs to feed them, as it were. But you can actually use your frag grenades on your shoulder grenade launcher to instantly subdue them as well. So just a note. I really got off of my rhythm here somewhere. I was just like struggling to find it again, as sometimes happens. So I opted to get some distance and hope that an opportunity would arise for me to deal with these guys. It did not. I just got my ass chopped. Usually the case with marauders, the additional enemies are the thing that make him particularly vexing. So in this case, the prowler and the whiplash were just really obnoxious, and then for some reason he kept just operating unexpectedly. You know, he's coming in real close instead of doing his usual, and lost another life just like that. So I thought this was good because it demonstrates, I guess, both good and bad situations to fight marauders in. So what I really should have done was tried harder to prioritize killing those additional enemies. I kept thinking that I was gonna like bait him into something, and just kind of kept trying, where I really should have focused on getting the additional enemies done with first. And if he doesn't present a good opportunity, if he does, you know, dash close, use his shotgun, and doesn't do the usual combo of, you know, chucking the blade and then going in with the green flash, just wait it out. Wait until you've got the right moment. Spend that extra time, you know, dealing with whatever else is around. Because he will punish you if you try to, you know, take him on in the wrong circumstances. Alright, so hit the teleporter. Check out what's going on, make sure I didn't miss anything. Always just a good habit. Make sure you refill your ammo if you
The
can.
world of Argentanur has fallen. Divided, the demonic energy flows now to the south, and the society you once knew has been replaced by a corrupted world under Maker rule.
Alright, so there's another fairly tricky little arena here. And here's one of your pain elementals for an opportunity to get one of the challenge glory kills. So my main problem here is that there are several pinkies and I don't have a blood punch ready. So you'll have to dispatch these guys the old-fashioned way. And while you're doing it, just watch out for the sneak attacks from those prowlers. So mostly this can be tricky if the pinkies kind of get the better of you. If they actually hit you, you know, they can kind of juggle you a little bit around and make you a sitting duck for other enemies, especially the prowlers. This is a reasonably tricky little fight up here as well. That was a pretty bad shot that I just took there. Fun fact, you can indeed freeze floating enemies. Thanks, Pinky. Blocked my retreat from those cacodemons, so there's a life down. As soon as you've heard that noise, you know that cacodemon is close enough to have tried for a melee, even if it didn't actually hit you. And there's a specter. Instead of wasting my blood punch, since we were kind of at the tail end of the fight, I just opted to take him out with weapons rather than use up that blood punch. It's worth noting that you can pick up secrets. I'm not 100% sure about the Praetor Seed points. I'm assuming you can do those as well, but you can pick up various secrets like your, cheat codes or toy collectibles, that kind of stuff, while you're in the middle of a fight, and it will not make you invulnerable. I discovered this randomly the other day. So if you're ever in a position to do that, don't. Because it will not save you. You will still take damage while you're standing there looking at the item. I couldn't remember if there was anything over here, so I just doubled back to make sure there wasn't. All there was that ammo pickup, no big deal. This is another simple puzzle. I mean, I suppose calling it a puzzle is generous, but grab the codex pickup and get your crucible thing, whatever that is. I don't know if that's supposed to be its power source or what. And we're in here in the throne room. Some of these things do make you wonder a bit about what this society was actually like. I should go back and read some of the codex entries. So there is a secret pack here, which you can access easily via those little jump pads. And then you can smash that to get yourself down to the next level, and from here we're going to have another secret to get. This is one of the harder ones. It's very easy to screw up. Don't forget this free point on the back half of this little circular shaft. But what we want to get is... I guess I'll spend some of my points here. Get the regen barrels and some map stuff. Why not? But what we really need to get here is that question mark that's kind of down midway down this big cylindrical shaft here. Just gonna double check your heading, make sure you're looking in the right way. And there it is. I was too late. It's a bit of a tricky one. It took me a long time to find it the first time I was playing through the game. So I could see it on the map, but I just could not figure out where the hell it was for the longest time. Because it is hard to see when you're falling quickly. There's another one of these little arenas here, and these little antechambers. Pay due respect to the whiplash. When you have a couple of those, they're, you know, not the toughest of enemies, but they can end a run very quickly if you're being heedless. So you can see right there how much damage those two shots did. Thanks to that zombie who got in my way and blocked my slide. Stack back up. And proceed. Shoot that to open the gate. And smash that to drain the water. An empowered mancubus that spawns here in the other antechamber here on the other side. Codex entry and another mastery token. So I'm going to spend that here. So looking at the preview, it makes it look like you can just launch those arbalest shots repeatedly using that, but I've honestly never made great use of it. So now we've got our sword. So this is just fun time. This is not an especially difficult encounter. This is just kind of, hey, look at all these free bits of ammo for your sword. Go to town. It's not as though you can't die here, you certainly can. But it's not really meant as a big challenge. The main thing you want to do is just prioritize these big targets. Much like if you're using... This is essentially just the Berserk power-up, except with ammo. You can kind of take out whoever. So we can see that those powered-up enemies spawned in. The archvile air juggles me. That is a thing that you have to be careful of. So we'll take him out, slice up a few of his spawns, and we'll just polish off the remaining jerks. Not a super tough fight, just a bit of fun, give you a chance to experience Crucible. And even though those ammo points do show up on the map, they don't count as like secrets or anything. You don't actually have to get them for any sort of map completion stuff. So, fast travel has now unlocked. To make sure we didn't miss anything, of course I did miss that map pickup, but that's not a problem. So we'll warp back up to the throne room so I can take another stab at getting this pickup here. Don't feel bad if it takes you a few times. This is just kind of, it's a pain in the butt, really. So you can see again, there it is. And you can double jump to kind of help you time it better, and I still managed to screw it up. Even though I I opened it. Somehow I got stuck or something. I don't even know what happened there, but whoopsie daisy. As you can see, I did manage to get a double jump off. If you go too far past a certain point, you won't be able to double jump. But you can if you don't wait too long. You can pull it off, and that helps. So we got our Pan Elemental. And we can just warp ourselves back to the power core and fall back to the end of the level. And down we go. And that's it. So I managed to get everything except for that one challenge here for the Pain Elemental Glory kills. So if you fall into that category, just, you know, you can run back through the level real quick and just do a couple of those and then quit back out and you'll have those rewards. So that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this instructive, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.